Ramblers, welcome back to the Braves Ramble, specifically the view from the mountain in the pre-match building up to Coventry City. I'm Paul Mountain, here to take you through that and just see what we're saying about Coventry City arriving at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane this Friday night. It is a game that is being shown on terrestrial television. You can catch this game on ITV. Very, very rare thing. I don't know when that all started happening again, but there's nothing wrong with that, is there, being on national television on a Friday evening. Should get a good audience for that one. So, yeah, really big game in the division. I know a lot of Sheffield United supporters are a little bit apprehensive about it, mainly because of Coventry's form. They come into the game 8 wins out of 10, which is a really good record. It's promotion form. It would be normally good enough to see you in the contention for a top 2 spot, an automatic promotion spot. So it is a big game. They're on form. Sheffield United on good form as well. We just come off the back of a big victory against Sheffield Wednesday, which obviously never get bored of saying that. Doing the Sheffield double. Make mine a double. So that's 2 wins against that lot, and we should be coming into this really, really confident. We've had 7 wins out of 10 with 1 draw and a couple of defeats. So it is very, very evenly matched going into the game. Coventry's form has been good. Like I said, 8 wins out of 10. They're off the back of a 3-0 win with Haji Wright featuring, scoring a hat-trick on his return from injury. He has got an amazing record when he's played for the team. It's 10 goals with 1 assist from only 13 starts this season and 19 overall appearances. So he features for them. If they're going to score a goal, there's a decent chance Haji Wright is involved in that. Okay, they did before that lose to Derby's 2-0. Again, they're falling foul of having one of those fixtures against one of those sides scrapping for their lives, a game that you'd think Coventry, on the back of their form leading up to that game, having beaten nearly every team in sight other than Leeds, you'd have expected them to win. But then the danger of facing those sides down the bottom, Derby fighting for their lives, end up turning them over. And they've been doing a bit of a Sheffield United. They've been winning by the odd goal, beating Stoke 3-2, Oxford 3-2, Preston 2-1. They beat the Owls 2-1 as well. They beat QPR 1-0. There's loads of odd goal victories for Coventry City. They had a big loss against Ipswich in the Cup, but for a side going for promotion in the Championship, one of those fixtures that the managers pretend that they're upset about losing, I think. I'm not sure how many of them actually do. They've had a big turnaround under Frank Lampard, who's taken for this promotion push, but we can't underestimate what Mark Robins did for them. He was there 7.5 years, turned them round massively. They went for a really tough time where they lost the ground, they had fans booing. I remember a game there where there was whistling all the way through. It was a real strange atmosphere, not very nice really for a club of Coventry stature to be in that kind of mess, but it feels like they're on the comeback and they've got a really, really good side. There's players who crossed over from Coventry to Sheffield United, namely 2 of our main men at the moment. Carl O'Hare, the man that makes everyone tick, okay, starts our press, busy player, we like him a lot. Could improve his numbers, but he's over here and he's doing a good job for Sheffield United. Gustavo Hamer as well, obviously, who we spent some money on when we went to the Premier League and was worth every penny for me. He's probably our most dangerous player, our X-Factor player, and someone who I'm fairly sure is going to want to score against Coventry City, even though he does go back there to support them sometimes, which I don't think we mind that too much and we'll forgive him that. So the Coventry lineup. So they have Dovin in goal, who's a decent player. Van Hewick at right back. Bobby Thomas at centre half. He's a dangerous player. He's got 5 goals this season and an assist. I saw him score the winner against Stoke City. It shouldn't have been a winner because I also saw Mason Clark get absolutely cleaned out by their goalkeeper and no penalty given. It was the oddest decision I've seen all season. Liam Kitchen will partner him at centre half. They've got a lad called Jay De Silva at left back. Victor Torp, who plays in midfield. He's a really good player. I like him. Gets on the end of things. 6 goals, 4 assists. So chipping in with the statistics this season. Matt Grimes, he makes them tick in the centre. Good player. We looked at him, I believe, there was a rumour that we looked at him. It helps to make things tick in the centre of the park. Bit of a playmaker, quite a creative player, along with Jamie Allen, who puts in the hard yards in the centre for them. On the right-hand side, they have Sakamoto, tricky little player, left-footed player who comes off the right-hand side, similar to Raksaki in that respect. 4 goals, 5 assists this season, so not as many goals as Raksaki. To be fair, Haji Wright, who I mentioned, his stats are pretty ridiculous. 10 goals, 1 assist in just 13 starts from 19 appearances. So he is coming back and he's obviously hit form, scoring a hat-trick in the last game. So I believe that he's the man to stop. They've also got Mason Clark on the left-hand forward. He's got pace to burn. He's a quick player, 5 goals, 5 assists this season. So doing well. They're missing some players, and they've got some players on the bench who can make a difference. Remember Norman Bassett? He was a bit of a pantomime villain last time. Ahmed Hodzic tangled with him, and we think that Bassett was playing with the dark arts and trying to get Ahmed Hodzic off the pitch, and that worked. So we're going to have to watch him if he comes on. It might be someone who they deploy just to try and ruffle the feathers of the United defenders. I don't know. He's got 2 goals this season, Bassett. We looked at him and thought, oh, he looks like a bit of a handful, but clearly hasn't been banging them in this season. They've got Ellis Sims, who's also a good option for them off the bench as well, and Josh Eccles, who can score from midfield, 3 goals, 3 assists this season, and Jamie Patterson on the right hand side, who's a bit of a journeyman in the division, but obviously he can come on and do a job for them off the bench as well. They are missing some of their big hitters, certainly in Jack Radoni. He's 5 goals, 10 assists, so a real creative force for them. He's got a dislocated shoulder. It doesn't look like he will make the game. Ben Sheaf as well, who we like as well. He's a really good cultured midfield player, likes to carry the ball forward. And then they've got Brandon Thomas Asante, who's also injured. We're not sure if he's back or not. I remember him from playing for West Bromwich Albion. He's a bit of a wild card. He's on his day, can be a bit of a world beater. On another day, brings nothing to the table. So yeah, he's a bit of an exciting player for them off the bench if he can make it onto their bench. So the Red and White Wizards, who are we going to pick this week? Well, we will never know, because Wilder's presser will not give us any clues, and he will throw us off in every direction he possibly can. Doesn't help us out, those guys on the YouTube are trying to predict teams, but you can be fairly confident, or I'm fairly confident, he'll go for a very, very similar team to the one that played against Sheffield Wednesday. Not rocket science, but I think that's a given. The change that I think he will almost certainly make is, I think he will bring O'Hare back into the starting 11 in replacement of Ryan Brewster. I could easily be wrong here. He might say to Brewster, you got the goal, go and make the shirt your own. But I just feel like with that connection O'Hare has with Coventry, usually he's got there is a bit of a notion to go with ex-players against their old teams, simply because usually they come up trumps, and they really want to impress their former club. So we'll see how that goes, but I think he will pick O'Hare in there. But we'll start at the back. We'll start with Michael Cooper, a real difference maker in this division. We can't say for sure how many points he's actually earned us already this season, but I can guarantee it will be upwards of 9 or 10 points that we wouldn't have had if we'd have had one of our former goalkeepers. No disrespect to those guys. Left back, you can pretty much guarantee it'll be Burrows. I think he'll stick with Robinson. I don't see any reason to get rid of Robinson at this point. There is a big clamber amongst the fan base to go for Rob Holding. Obviously, we like Rob Holding. We think that he could be somebody who comes into our team, someone we may sign if we go up, or even if we stay in the Championship next season. But he hasn't managed to displace Robinson just yet. So I think Robinson keeps his place alongside Ahmed Hodzic. At right back, this is tricky, because I think it will be influenced quite heavily by what happens further up the pitch with regards to Vinny Souza and his fitness. If Vinny Souza is fit, I believe it'll be Hamza Chowdhury starting at right back for this game. I think that their attacking threat, a lot of it comes from Mason Clark on the one flank on the left-hand side, Sakamoto on the other side. I think that we need players who can make tackles. There's no slant on Femi Siriki. He's much better going forward than Hamza Chowdhury. There's no doubt in that. But I just believe we may try and counteract those threats by putting Chowdhury in at right back for this game. Obviously, if Vinny Souza's fit. If not, I believe he will go for Femi Siriki at right back. And I'm keen to keep giving games to Femi Siriki. I think the more he plays, the more chance he gives us of offering more defensive solidity. I'm sure it's something that he's talking to him about. And obviously those senior players at the back, Ahmed Hodzic, Robinson and Holding, talking him through the game a little bit. I think when you're an experienced young player like Siriki, who's had, let's face it, a massive upwards curve this season, but there is still work to do there, in my opinion. Peck will start in centre mid. I don't think there's any doubting about that at the moment. Preferably Vinny Souza, but possibly Chowdhury, depending on the circumstances with Vinny. I think he'll go with BBD on the right-hand side, with O'Hare through the centre and Hamer on the left-hand side. I think that there is still a chance he'll put Brewster in there, and who could argue if he did? Me and a few others, but I think I'd go with O'Hare simply because I believe he is the superior player, and I think Brewster has given us good options off the bench in the past few games. I think he's brought a little bit of a spark, that little bit of energy. Up front, number one striker for us at the moment, Tyrese Campbell. I think he's been outstanding for us this season, continues to be a threat, made the goal for Brewster against Sheffield Wednesday, and always looks like he's going to offer us something against a Coventry side that, yeah, they can score goals, have scored more than Sheffield United this season, but do concede more goals as well. So I'm confident that with Tyrese Campbell at the top of the pitch, we have that threat. Now, on the bench, we can welcome Tom Cannon. We hope with fitness that he's going to be okay. Kiefer Moore, Ryan Brewster, I believe, Sam McCallum, who sits in there, Femi potentially, depending on the circumstances, Holding, and then Raksaki, who, again, some people may want to see him start. I still think, again, he's got quite a lot to prove this season. I wouldn't be against Raksaki playing if he wanted to drop Hamer into the two. We've said that quite a few times, but I don't think Wilder favours putting Hamer in there alongside Peck as a pair, because I believe it was an option, has been an option before, and he just doesn't seem to want to take it. So how important is this fixture for Sheffield United and Coventry? Well, I don't think it derails Coventry's season. I don't think it derails ours. I think if we lose this game, but I believe that obviously being at home, I think this is the type of game that won't be, I don't think it'll be an end-to-end classic by any means. I think Coventry will come and attack. I don't think they're the type of team that will come and sit 10 men behind the ball and say, come and break us down. I believe there'll be chances for both sides to score. I think both teams will score. Looking at the predictions for the game, the three Mardy Blades, I went for a 1-1 draw at the time. And again, I think that's a feasible result for this game. In my gut, I believe we can win this 2-1 because I do think Coventry will score again at Bramall Lane in this game. Jimmy went for 1-1 as well, and then the ever optimistic Dave the Nose went for a 2-0 Sheffield United victory. So yeah, I mean, there's a little mixture there of different results, I suppose. Me and Jimmy having going for the same thing. I still think we could win this one 2-1, and I hope we do, obviously. But it is one of those tougher fixtures that we're going to be facing before the end of the season, and obviously we just want to keep pace. The thing that we've had recently is when we win games, the teams around us like Burnley and Leeds United are also winning their games. So it doesn't nullify it. Obviously, it's a good feeling to keep winning. It's good habits to get into. But I just feel like it's one of those weekends where it would be really, really nice to put that little gap between ourselves and Burnley. We were a little bit disappointed last time against Bristol at home. And yeah, when you lose a goal that late, I think that's fair enough. But I thought Bristol City were a really good side, and if Bristol can replicate the form that they've been in, who's to say that they won't make it into the playoffs, because they're right in that position. And I thought they were really impressive, considering on paper I don't think there'd have been many people shout for a playoff spot. Who else is in there for that playoff spot? Well, it's 2 from 4 in my opinion. I think Coventry, are most people's favourites to go in there in 5th position. Bristol, if they can maintain the form they showed at Bramall Lane, I think they won't lose many games between now and the end of the season. You've also got West Brom, who are a hard team to beat and have been away to teams at the top and got good results. I think for West Brom, it's about their consistency, probably against some of the lesser sides in the division, and making sure that they secure those 3 points. A few too many draws for them in those types of games this season, but still right in there with a shout and could easily sneak in last minute. We think Middlesbrough have got a lot of individual quality in their side. I think they're another team to watch in this little shake-up for the playoffs. 2 from 4 for me. I think Coventry will make it personally. I think that they'll slip up at Bramall Lane Friday night, and that might be, hopefully, the last time that they do this season, because, like I said, historic club, bit of a soft spot for them. Obviously, they gave us not just Gustavo Hamer, not just Callum O'Hare, but Peter and Love. Oh yeah, I remember him from being a young lad, a flair player, Zimbabwean international, absolute dreamboat of a player for them and for us. And yeah, so a little bit of a soft spot for Cov, but forget that on Friday, because Sheffield United, Blades, Unitedites, we need to get behind this team. We need to make the ground a cauldron. I'm hoping that win over Wednesday will reignite some of that fire in people's bellies, start to look at that table and believe that we are the best team on paper, because we are. But we've accumulated more points than anybody else in this division, the best away record, the second best home record. It's all in our hands, Blades, and we've just got to make sure we show up for this game, we show up for all the others, because 3 points against this lot is worth only the same as 3 points against Oxford in a week's time. But we've got to make sure that we capitalise and take advantage of that home form. It'll be a good game. It might be scrappy, but who cares? It's 3 points that it's all about. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe.
This is the view from the mountain.